looking at currency devaluation. We're also looking at weak income growth. That is, GDP is growing, but your income level, is that also growing for workers in this country? Now, how about some current policies? Removal of subsidies, is that also affecting us? The war going on, is that also affecting us? All these global situations, how are they affecting the poverty situation in Nigeria? Now, look at the figure. As of 2026, roughly 129 to 140 million Nigerians are living below the United Nations poverty line. 140 million, we are 220 million people, 140 million are already living below. So that means we have only about 60 million who are actually surviving as in Nigeria. Now, the figure has been, galloping for a while now. 2025, 63% of Nigerians are living below poverty line. 2024, it dropped a bit to 61%. By 2023, it dropped to 56%. But today, at 2026, we are looking at 63%. So we have brought into the studio a distinguished Nigerian who is passionate about the fact that we have to change the trajectory of impoverishment in our community. She is a humanitarian. She's also, very focused on the fact that, yes, nation building is everybody's, you're all stakeholders, as citizens, as leaders. So leadership, how do you get yourself to see that you're rebuilding your community and not depleting the community? That's the kind of thought that we have in our guest today. Across Nigeria, so we are saying she wants to confront boldly the truth about humanitarian impact. She is a lady or a woman who has actually lived it, that is, she has lived through that truth. She has shaped it, and she has also challenged it. She's she's a member of a club, the Rotary International. So she's a Rotarian. So the fact that she's a Rotarian means that she's actually on the streets seeing how we can impact, how humanitarian activities can impact on the community. So we have in the studio a beautiful lady who will be sharing with us her experiences, her insights, and of course our own oversight on what we need to do to help this country become one of the greatest nations on the face of the earth. So stay with us. Let's get to meet what my producer has put together, the profile of our guest, so that you can then get your paper and your Bible and be ready to ask her all the questions that you'd like to ask her. Stay with us. I'll be back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for seeing the beautiful profile of our guests. And so it's my pleasure to welcome Stella Arukwe to Close Flow.
Nice having you.
When she was coming into the studio, you could see the glowing cheeks, really, the glowing, really. So I was asking her, to become a Rotarian, must I have the glowing cheeks like she has?
You don't have to. It's open for all.
For everybody to join.
So we operate inclusivity and diversity. So whoever you are, no matter the features of your skin, the color of your skin, the features on your face, whether it's protruded, you're welcome.
Wow. Now she said it's all inclusive, so wherever you are, you want to join them, that is a good invitation.
Absolutely. It's
but
open
now,
to all.
no, Stella, because Stella itself is a star. That means you are a star, the way it is, okay? Now, but Stella, when we are looking at developing communities, you think humanitarian activities like you guys are interested in, you think can change the story?
See, solution has to start from somewhere. And like the popular axiom, change begins
at
with
home.
you. Yes, change begins with you. Because the problems are already there. And the question is, what do you do with the problems? Nigeria, with over 50% of the population living under poverty, what do you do? I mean, it behoves on us to find solution. Nobody's going to do it from for
anywhere,
us.
Yes.
Yes, no nation, no country would do it for us. So we already have a very critical problems in our hands, and we can watch and see our generation wallow away in poverty. So what do we do for those of us that have really set the pace, that have one way or the other stepped ahead in terms of our career, in terms of endeavors, whatever you're doing? So what do you do, right, is to think and do the way of solution, right? Because the truth of the matter is that if we leave the problems to the government alone, we might not have the results that we so desire. So that is where individuals, very intentional individuals and very intentional organizations like the one I represent, Rotary International, are really doing amazing things, taking the step one after the other, because when each individual takes a step where you are with what you're doing, you find that at the end of the day, cumulatively, we will be effecting the changes that we so desire without waiting for government or waiting for any global institution, without waiting for global aid from United Nations or wherever to come and help us. The problem exists here, and the solution has to start from here.
Now, we said to you she's very daring. You can see how she has boldly defined it. Each one of us, we are part of this, of finding the solution. Is the solution she's now interested in. But now, Stella, so who defines the actual humanitarian impact? Is it the donor of the funding, or is it the NGO that is handling, whatever the intervention may be, or the community itself? So who decides, who now tells us that, okay, this is the impact of this humanitarian effort?
Okay, so it is tripartite situation. Because from observatory point of view, as the donor, yes, as the institution or organization that is coming up with intervention, you observe what is on ground. And because we are not aliens, we are in the system, we know what is we know what is happening, right? So we observe, and of course we live in the system where we are being affected by the same system. So we know what is happening. So we come from that end, look at what do we do to really impact the lives, impact the lives of the people in the community. So what intervention steps are we going to take to, so at our own end, we come up with solutions and ideas. And of course, we do what we call need assessment, right? So from your experience living in that community, or from your observation, or having engagement or conversation with the people in that community, you know what the problems are, right? And of course, with the media, all of it, what the media is doing, you guys are spotlighting what is happening. You are going into the hinterlands to really showcase and bring out the stories as it is. So through these avenues, we know what the problems are, because of course we don't need to be told, we don't need to go to school to know what the problems are. We know what the problems, because we are part of the system. We live on the street as well. The fact that we have taken steps forward, we have moved ahead, doesn't mean that we don't know what is happening. We know what is happening. So we go on the street to really engage these communities and of course come up with ideas, and by virtue of what we do, right, we implement these situations, and when the results comes, the community takes the effect of the impact, because at the end of the day, we measure the impact from their own point of view and from our own observatory point of view.
I like that. So you balance it.
Balance it.
Okay, but now the good thing though is this. So at what point does humanitarianism becomes an excuse or a substitute for failed governance? At what point? Because you have just given us, you have tabled it. Yes, you do your assessment on the communities. You look at the impact. But so that humanitarianism, at what point does it become an excuse for the failed governance in the nation that we are living?
So our work is not to measure the failism, if there's a word like that, of the government.
Or the failure?
Yeah, of the failure of the government. Our work is not to really measure who is failing and who is not failing at what point, because of course we can see that there are issues on ground, that there
are some slacks.
Yes, there are slacks that are being experienced. We can see it, but instead of focusing on where the government has failed or where the government has not failed, because the government, they are human beings, they're also living in the system, they should know what the problems are. So we are not focusing on that, and the people in the communities cannot wait for that to be done. So that is why we take steps ahead to really start mitigating the problems right from the communities, while we wait for the government to put their acts in order and do the right thing that will affect the generality of the citizens. We take steps forward by doing what we should do as an organization, as an intentional organization.
Thank you very much for that. You just get your paper and your Bible ready so you can join the conversation, because the conversation is about you. She has said to you as a stakeholder, you also have a stake to answer to find solutions. Now, but considering the global space that we are in right now, where we have exploiters and the exploited. So do you think we can actually see how humanitarian effort can bridge the expanding gap between the rich and the poor? You think it's possible? You think it's realistic?
Well, in terms of reality, the reality on ground is that there are those who have been exploited.
Yes.
And there are those who are exploiting the system.
Yes.
So that is the reality. So, but from our own point of view, like I've mentioned, ours is not to really bother about them. Our concern is, where do we fill in the gap? That is where.
I like that.
Yes, where do we fill in the?
But that's daring. That is daring. I mean, it's altruistic, but it's daring.
So to achieve anything good, you have to have the audacity of purpose and the conviction of execution. To achieve
anything in
life generally. And when you are talking about elimination of poverty, you have to be daring. You have to take the risk against your own
comfort.
Yes, against your own comfort and convenience. Because what we do actually, for instance, in Rotary, is not from the place of convenience. Because there is something we call 3 T's that we bring to the table in making sure that actions are being taken, whether it has to do with health, whether it has to do with education, whether it has to do with empowerment, supporting local businesses. We bring what we call the 3 T's of our service. That is your time, your talent, your treasure. So you bring. Of course. So spend money.
Wow.
Yeah. Rotary International has raised over hundreds of billions of thousands to fight polio all over the world. Today, we have achieved at least 95% success of eradication of polio, apart from presence of it in Pakistan and Afghanistan. And of course, the reason why we are still daring in that aspect, because, of course, human beings are nomadic. Human beings can move from one place to the other. So should one go near to someone who has it and bring it, for instance, in Nigeria, it becomes another serious global issue, and we don't want that to happen. So that is why we're stamping on our faith that something like that do not happen. And now coming back home when it comes to poverty. Right? Yeah. So we're taking step forward. We're not waiting to begin to analyze the failures of the government, to analyze, which organization has failed or which organization has not done what it should do, right? So from our own point of view, we can't wait. The reality of the situations faces all of us. And if we look at it, it's going to affect, it will not just affect us, it will affect the generations after us. Because if we don't give them something to jumpstart with, right, of what are they going to fall back on? And look at the millions of Nigerians who are looking on to us. They're looking up to us that this generation has failed them. So what legacy are we going to pass to them? What is the foundation upon which they're going to stand to start their own life? So the reality before us cannot wait. We just have to do something.
Thank you for that again, Stella. But are we now saying, therefore, if NGOs are becoming, like you said, very impactful, life-changing, because they are filling the gaps, they are trying to reverse all the, key slacks. Now, should NGOs therefore become, should there be policy guidelines? Okay. Yes, policy guideline on how NGOs should function, how they can be accountable, how they are very clear on the impact. Is that what you are also pushing?
So, yeah, the NGOs, like the one I represent, Rotary International, is a very structured organization that has elevated its principles, standards, and their portfolio, right? And of course, they work hand in hand with the government. From the angle of the government brings out the policies,
yes,
all right? And we bring out rules and regulations upon which we operate. Yes, upon which we operate. So we have that understanding with the policies of the government. So we know where our actions start and where our boundaries are.
Okay.
Yes.
So I like that. You are speaking for your own, but should that be the umbrella for all other NGOs that are actually looking at impacting life the way you're doing?
Exactly. So I'm not oblivious of the fact that some organizations,
yes,
some NGOs take undue advantage of trying to help
situations,
communities, yes, and make mess of things. That is a reality, all right? But that is where the government comes in to institute policies, to institute actions through which this organization should operate. And of course, let me also use this to say that people should not take undue advantage of situations on ground to rip off even the government, rip off even the poor. We've seen that happen where people in the name of NGOs are doing things, even ripping off the poor, right? So that is where the government monitoring, the government observatory rules and oversight functions should come in to ensure that any organization, no matter where you are, where you're coming from, whether you're coming from the yonder, whether you're coming from here, whether you are small, whether you're medium, whether you're big, you have to work within the confines of the rules and of course of the government and of course the policies which has been instituted upon which every organization, whether an NGO, should operate in.
Okay, thank you very much for that again. Now, so how do we now therefore avoid creating dependency cycles? Because there are so many vulnerable communities in Nigeria right now. You are giving us an example already. So 160 million Nigerians are already living under poverty. So, and we know that some section of Nigeria, northern Nigeria, for instance, many rural communities are trapped in that. So how can we now change that cycle of dependency?
See, I must say this, that sometimes it amazes me. Nigeria, with a nation that is so blessed, with so much
resources,
natural resources, we have become so
impoverished.
Yes, impoverished, that we are looking for help from foreign countries. It amazes me. Are we talking about agriculture? Are we talking about natural resources? Name it, that Nigerians are not blessed with. And guess what? These things are situated in the same communities that are facing poverty. Right? And that is where the government comes in, where you have the issue of insecurity. Because people, of course, from what our findings, people are willing to work. But people are scared. People are not safe. If you heard of your neighbor that was kidnapped, or your neighbor's neighbor that was killed, or your family friend in one village that was killed, you will not have the courage to want to go and face life and face your daily life. Yeah. Right, so that is where the government comes in to ensure that the things that the people need to stand, the people are ready to work, but they need structures. They need to have those interventions which only the government can provide. And one of them majorly is as a security. If people know that their movements are secured, their source of livelihood is secured, they will go and do what we need to do. And on this side, from institutional point of view, it is our place to begin to give support, to begin to educate, to begin to help people on ways they can use their skills, use their trade, use their learnings, their professional experiences to make something out of life. But how would people take that step if they know that they are not secured?
All right, so the ball is back in the court. Yes, okay, we are not talking about how government has performed or not, but she has now tabled the question. So how do we make sure that people can actually confidently join in the task of building Nigeria if there's no security? Now, okay, we'll say we will navigate that as we continue this discussion. We will give it a telephone number so you send your question so that Stella can actually deal with that. Now, but don't you think that international NGOs, for instance, they often get more funding than local, organizations or local NGOs, or because maybe because those foreign interests have their own agenda, or is it that the local ones don't know what the impact they need to create to get the funding from foreign investors?
Well, you could argue either is a lopsided, So yeah, most organized international organizations have serious capacity when it comes to funding, and of course they've been using it to effect changes, including Africa, including Nigeria. So the question is, how is it that they have more capacity than the local organization?
Yes.
It falls back to intention, it falls back to strategy, it falls back to what you want to achieve, right? It falls back to your intention. What do you want to achieve? So for them, right, they've taken that step to know that empowering, controlling, and capturing your society is the roadmap for you to achieve development. Right?
Is one of the roadmaps for you to achieve?
Exactly, because at the end of the day, who are the people who will work for development?
Yes.
It is the people. So you need to make sure that these people are catered for, right? So they've been able to do that at their own level, at their own climes.
Yes.
They've been able to do it well, and they're looking further, all right, into Africa. And of course, they know that Africa has the potentials in terms of human resources, in terms of natural resources. So the only way they can tap into the resources of Nigeria, I mean, of course, for good, I'm speaking for good right now, is also to help the people. Because when the people are standing, they'll be able to have access to work with them collaboratively, right? So that is why that, from their own end, they already have capacity. And the way to extend it to Africa is by reaching out with help at the same time, right? By helping Africans, that is when you can actually have access to the people of Africa, have access to their resources, right?
Okay, all right. She has that question is going to raise another issue, actually, because some people are already sending in, comments on how Africa is maybe, in a sense, poverty is being weaponized to see how Africa is now recolonized. We will look at that later on. But let's give you the number for you to reach Stella so you can ask her your own questions. 070-3340-8755. 070-3340-8755. Let me take it again, slowly this time. 070-3340-8755. Let's have your comments. SMS, WhatsApp, no voice call, please. I know some of you would like to hear Stella's voice, but no. Just send us a text, and she will now answer your question. We'll take a break now. When we'll come back, let us give her a breather. When we'll come back, then you can then send us your questions or your comments, and we can ask Stella. Stay with us.
The federal government of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables, and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
Our major currency unit is the Naira, while the minor unit is the Kobo. They are both in notes and coins. The Naira is more than just a medium of exchange. It bears the images of our heroes. So, Stop abusing the naira. It is a criminal offense to spray the naira at events. Stop stepping on the naira. It's not your enemy. Do not squeeze, ruffle, or write on the naira. Handling the naira with dirty or oily hands can deface the naira. Love the naira as you love yourself. Be a real Nigerian. Do not abuse the naira.
Welcome to Lagos.
To relax, entertain you, and give you the best videos ever.
Around Lagos and its environment.
On the network service of the NTA. My name is Ikeja.
The Great Nigeria Insurance House.
I am Adejoke Odeka.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We still have our star princess, our star queen. She's still in the studio with us, and she's now ready to answer your questions. So let's have your questions, let's have your comments, so she can then give us an insight on how we can turn the story of Nigeria around. Now, but Stella, let's domesticate it a bit. Personally, so what experience, what personal sacrifice has this journey demanded from you? I mean, this intervention, this support you're taking to communities, you're trying to reverse poverty. What has it done to you as a person?
So for me, as a kid, it is something that has been part of me.
Growing up?
Yes, growing up. Because I remember even in secondary school, I could spare my pocket money to ensure that some of my friends have their
meals.
Well, yes, thank God for from the background that I came from, at least we have enough, right? So then I'll make sure that I go to school with something, not just for me, because of course I have enough, to make sure for some of my classmates, my schoolmates who don't have. So it has been something inborn in me. And over time growing up, my passion has always been to help others realize their potentials. Because when everybody are standing, there won't be any need for you to steal from the other person. There won't be any need for you to envy the other person.
Or to kill.
Yes, there won't be any need for you to harm the other person and take what belongs to them aggressively if you have yours. And it falls back to the values. We need to go back to the basis, the values and orientations from our families. Because the question I ask, why and how did we get it
to this
wrong? Right, we've lost our values and dignity of human labor. Yes, right. So for me, it's been a journey, right? It's been a journey that has taken me up to this point, and I've never looked back in doing that. It has cost me time. It has cost me resources, right? Because to help the other person who don't have, you've got to take from the one that you have. Right, to make sure that that person is standing. So at my personal level as an individual, all right, who has been part of the journey of humanitarian work, and of course I've served in so many organizations.
Yes.
Right, apart from the one that I represent now,
yes.
Rotary International.
Yes.
Right, because at every point in time, I'm looking for avenue. What is the next person to help? What is the next person to help? And the truth of the matter, the help we are talking about, it doesn't have to be in billions and millions. With 1,000 naira, with 10,000 naira, you can help somebody to jumpstart. So that has been the objective, and that has been the journey. And step by step, gradually, every day, find out that the impact is building up. Because when you help this person, and this person sees the value of what you've done for him or her, you encourage him to also do the same for another person. All
right, see the multiplication effect. Okay, all right, thank you very much for that. Let's quickly say thank you to all our viewers who are already sending their questions or your comments. Let's give them to Stella and see how she now responds to your need. I'm an undergraduate. How can I become a Rotarian? I love serving people. His name is Olumide from Okota.
Fantastic, Olumide. That is great. Rotary is open to all persons, no matter your standing, no matter whether you are starting as an undergraduate or a graduate or as somebody who's already working a professional, right? Rotary is a service organization that is that is open to all, right? And of course, it's been structured that if you're an undergraduate, you join the cadre, which we call Rotractors. Yeah. So, and of course, it's between the age of 15 to 25.
Great.
So once you're above 25, of course, you are a full adult,
yes.
then you can join the full organization, Rotary International. And of course, you can join a particular club, because the idea of Rotary is that every community will have a representation, because in every community, there is one issue or the other. And you can't wait for Rotary International to come all the way from Chicago to come and address your problem. So every community, there's a representation of Rotary Club. For instance, I represent Ikeja, Alausa,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And we adopted that community. We talk of Oregu, talk of Alausa, talk of all the environs there.
Yeah.
We adopted a school, because the essence of service is not just to do random project, because the impact at the end of the day has to be measured. And for you to extend it beyond your local community, you must adopt a community, adopt a school, adopt a project, adopt a situation, own a problem.
Within that community.
Exactly, own a problem and make good out of that problem.
Okay, so Olumide, she has given you the, just look at your community, see what the problem is, then as
and
a Rotary,
yes. As in Okota, there is a Rotary Club in Okota.
Aha, great. All right.
Just ask questions.
Thank you very much. Now, Stella, so when this self-sustaining community are being built, how do you go back to make sure that if the funding stops, the community will not collapse?
So there's what we call sustainability.
Yes.
Yes. So the idea is not just to turn them into giving them fish. You teach them how
to fish.
Yes. So the idea is to look at the problem, look at where the loopholes are, fill in the gap, and of course train them to also be partners of that community, of that solution, so that when you are not there, right, they continue the process of providing that solution, and of course ensuring that that problem is not repeated. So we have what we call a community call, where Rotary, from our own point of view, we partner with the community to ensure that whatever projects we institute in that community, when we leave, they continue with it.
Okay, great.
Because they have ownership. It is your community. If that project fails,
it is
on you. If it succeeds and continues and help you and the generations after you, it's also on you. So the success of that is on you, not even on us. Because for the most part, we do projects in communities. We don't even know them. Yes, we are not direct beneficiary of that project.
Yes.
We do it and live. But how do we create sustainability? Is to ensure that people in that community are part of it. We don't just do projects randomly. No, we involve the community. We ensure that they are part of the process from inception to conclusion.
Thank you very much, Stella. Now, so there must be something uncomfortable. I don't know about you particularly, that is your own organization, but there must be something uncomfortable for NGOs operating in, if you like, in Africa or, developing nations, because developing nations seems to have recycled failures or recycled impoverishment, or some people are calling today weaponized impoverishment. So what is the uncomfortable truth that NGOs actually are seeing or are facing in trying to be humanitarian in communities like this?
Okay, so for me, really, I will not address it from the angle of weaponization.
Okay.
I will address it from the angle of short-sightedness.
Of the communities, yes.
Yes, of the communities. Because you have what it takes to stand, and you're waiting for an external factor, external individual, external organization to come and help you. So what do you expect at the end of the day? Is what you see, is what you get. As you make your bed, you lie on it. It is a hard time, the community, the so-called communities, because when we talk about communities, we're thinking of people who are not schooled, who are so illiterate, cave people. No, we're thinking about people who are even schooled, who are educated, who are literate.
Yes, who have even traveled abroad.
Who have even traveled abroad. So what are you doing to show that power belongs to your people, that the resources in your locality are being harnessed for the good of your people. What are you doing about it? Rather, you connive with external factor to steal what belongs to
your people.
We should be a commonwealth that should address the need of everybody in that community.
Okay.
So what do you expect? At the end of the day, what you get is what you see is what you get. Because if you do nothing about what is your own, somebody will help you to misplace it.
That's a very clear warning. That is a Goldie warning that Stella has given. Okay, let's see what another guest has says. This is Honor from Aja. Honor says, I'm glad we have platforms like this. Okay, that's what Honor says. Rotary Club in this country giving back to humanity. Our government is not doing much. Our government is not doing much for the citizens. Now that 2027 is approaching and fake promises will be made, does Rotary Club have any power to demand for good governance to get our leaders to do the needful at the next election?
So
you want to say thank you to...
Yeah, thank you, Anna, for your comment. Is really, really deep. It shows that you are quite observing what is happening and you are really in the system. Right now, like I've had conversation with the presenter earlier that our focus is not to be in the blame game.
Yes.
Yes. So our focus is to fill in the gap, right? Because whether you like it or not, some of the people in government will err. Right.
They are humans.
They are humans, all right. So what we try to do is to see where are the gaps and how do we fill in the gaps. So as an organization, all right, one of the things we do is to engage in intentional leadership. If there is one thing Rotary has done for me, is also to impact in my leadership journey, in my leadership development. So one of the things we campaign in Rotary is for you to develop your character. We have what we call the four-way test.
Yes.
What you're doing, is it fair to all? Will it be to the benefits of others? So if you can answer these questions in your daily life, in your professional life, in the things you do, you find out that you will ensure that what you do, the decisions you take, the actions you take will benefit not just you or your cronies, but people in your community. Wow. So one of the things that Rotary has done good about is developing people of character, giving people opportunity to develop their leadership skills. Because that is where the problem is. And that has been one of the major problems of Africa. Bad leadership.
Yes.
When people think right, do right, you find out that it will extend to the citizens, to the ordinary people in the communities. So, and that is one of the things we are about, leadership development. So in that, and of course, we are not working outside the confines of the government. Yeah. The government recognizes what we do, and this is one of the things we'll preach to them. Intentional and calculated leadership that is based on character, that is based on the love for other people. That's one of the conversations we always will have with the government, whether at local government, state, or federal levels. Yeah.
Okay, but this is good because Honor, well, I think you really enjoy what she has just said to us. So it is not about, is it possible that Rotary can promote members to join in local politics? Is it not possible that Rotary can get like leadership training that they have enjoyed as a Rotary member? Can that be pushed for them to go and campaign and run local elections? Okay,
so because we are an NGO, we are a non-political organization, so we don't put it to the front, we don't front it. So we certainly by training people.
Yes.
So when people have the right values, right character,
they can add
right intention, yes, they are encouraged to join politics. But of course, we are not a political organization, and we don't bring politics. We don't yes. Our dealings is our activities does not is not fully involved in political activities. No, right? So our place is to develop people, train people so that they develop quality leadership, and if they have the choice and ambition to be in government, you find that they will do well.
Okay.
And of course, the truth of the matter, the fact that we always see the government, there are good ones among them.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, okay, like somebody says, if government and governance are working perfectly in today's Nigeria, do we need humanitarianism in this country?
You see, the poor will always be among us.
That is what Christ says.
The poor will always be among us, and the government will not be everywhere. So organizations like this that addresses issues from ground zero will always be there to support what the government is doing. So the government need organizations like Rotary to effectively and effectually address issues at community levels.
Okay. All right. So fundamentally, are we really sure that communities are empowered to become independent, or even made, or are they nicely being made to be more dependent?
So the idea is not to make the communities to depend on us or depend on the government. The idea is for them to stand
on their own.
Yes, the idea is make it to
build their inner strength.
Exactly, because we identified there's a problem, right? And this community needs help. So the only way, because you can't preach salvation to somebody that's already dead. You preach salvation to somebody who is living, who can take advantage of that to solve his own problem. So the idea is for them to stand by solving their problem, and of course teach them how they can continuously stand on the solution that has been provided for them while we step back and watch and guide and supervise.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, okay, we see how many viewers online. I think she has said so much. Nigerians are joining us. We have Olumide from Okota again. Olumide is back online. Olumide says, well done, close flow. I love Rotary Club in Nigeria, but I'm curious, how do they get funding to carry out all their humanitarian projects?
Fantastic. They say one give one.
That's Olumide for you.
Oh, yeah. So, Olumide, the truth of the matter is that, like they say, a drop of water makes a mighty ocean.
Yes.
And that is what has worked for Rotary. So if you're 1 kobo, 1 naira, 1 cent, you add it and we put it together, it becomes a pool that can solve problems anywhere else in the world. So every person's contribution, no matter how small, no matter how big, no matter where you are, that is what we put together into a pool which we call Rotary Foundation. And this is the fund which we distribute across different countries and continents to solve problems from community level. And of course, it is obtained through what we call grants. There's what is called the local grant, the district grant, and of course the global grant, depending on the scope of the project involved.
No, but you have not said one thing that maybe Olumide. So, how truthful is it that the fund is being applied appropriately or accountably, so that, because I'm sure Olumide is scared that in Nigeria, if you drop the fund itself may disappear.
So I am saying this with all sense of responsibility and boldness, right? If there is one thing that works for us in Rotary, is that part of financial accountability. It is one of the things we stand for, right? So every fund that is being contributed is used for what it is meant for. Because if there is any form of impropriety, it will be dealt with.
So if the fund is misappropriated along the line,
exactly,
they will say maybe something happened.
Because it's leadership by example. If we say that we project and promote leadership, right, then you have to live it. You have to practice it. And that is why, I mean, I have the opportunity to be given, the chance to serve my country beyond where I am right now.
Yes.
The learnings I have learned from Rotary will help me manage not just the people, but the resources. Because even as a president of a club, I have handled resources. We have worked on projects. And the funds that were people donated, both from club level or district level, was used for the same purpose for which it was intended for, and nothing was missing.
No, so Stella, so you are telling us that we have to develop leaders who are disciplined. I mean, to walk by the rules. Is that what is that?
Absolutely, without discipline. Of course, as a leader, one of the things that stands you out as a leader is discipline, because you are leading people, you are leading resources. You are leading everything that will make for the growth and development, whether as an organization or community. So discipline, the heart of discipline is very important. No matter the temptations, you have to ensure that you are sent to serve the purpose of the people, not your own selfish interest. And the truth of the matter, when you serve well and serve the need of the people, one way or the other, the universe has a way of taking care of you. I'm telling you.
Okay, well, that is something that we actually were going to use to close the program, but now that you mentioned it, I think we should look at it. So in life, impact is not what we give, it is what remains when we are gone. So what do we tell our politicians? You think their life is impact? You think what they are doing is impacting positively?
So if I'm given the opportunity to really speak to this, right? For me as an individual, if one of the things that drives me, the things I do and the things I am and I still want to be is impact, what will be left of me after I'm gone? What story, what imprints will be left of me after I'm gone? After all, like always, those who are close to me, there's something that I usually say, I don't want to be known as the richest person in the world. I want to be known as somebody who touched lives. Who touched lives, a multiplying effect. Because when you help a family, and that family has a younger generation, you can imagine the children that we help at Olusoso Primary School, touching their lives. Those children grow up to stand for themselves, and they have source of livelihood for which they can pass to their children. You have built a legacy. And that is what should stand anybody out. That should be the driving force. Not how many cars you have, how many houses, how many accounts that you have. No. Because at the end of the day, you will leave all behind. Have the best golden house, have the resources to go anywhere in the world. One day, that process will stop. But what will be left of you? What will be mentioned of you? What will be heard of you? What will be written of you? What did you, as you're living your life, what are you writing about yourself? And as you have left, what will be written about you? That should be the focal point for anybody who wants to live an impactful life, not how prosperous, how influential, how you're able to manipulate people. No.
There you have it. Stella, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
You can see that Stella Arukwe, besides the fact that she's a humanitarian, she's also a teacher. She has taught so much, about how what we need about leadership. So maybe next time we will need to call you again to come and speak about leadership. Yes, across the country, not just individually or something.
Yeah,
I think we should look at that again as a subject.
Absolutely, we need it.
All right, for all our viewers, it's never over on Close Flow. Let's go to all our social media handles so you can get Stella Arukwe, what she has, taught us, what she has informed us, how we need to change our mindset and also become the real stakeholders of what Nigeria should be in the coming years. So until next week, it is bye from us.
Welcome to Lagos.
To relax, entertain you, and give you the best videos ever.
Around Lagos and its environment.
On the network service of the NTA, my name is Ikeja.
The Great Nigeria Insurance House.
I am Adejoke Odeka.
Amazing children, are you ready to celebrate the Children's Day in a fun, exciting and meaningful way? Then get set for the Children's Day debate and essay competition, proudly brought to you by NTA2. School's debate competition topic: inclusion, child's rights and children's voices for development. A myth or reality? Can you speak for it or against it? The microphone is yours for children between the ages of 10 and 15 years. For the essay competition, in no more than 150 words, write on